Hey there, it's Brad here on the other side of the camera, and we are taking a look at this shimmering wall here. Excuse me. So this is 24 of these 12-inch panels strung together, and I want to tell you that it takes a long time to put together. So it took me maybe a couple of hours, and what you do is you've got, go up close to it, I think this is the blue one. It has a blue and green shimmer, and you can see these guys up close. All right, so you get a bunch of zip ties with this, small little zip ties, and we're going to take a look at the back here. Okay, turn this other light on. All right, so you see all these holes in these acrylic panels? Okay, so these 12-inch squares you put together with just these zip ties. So what I did is I put this, each one of these together. Let's go up to this one, that'll be easier. By just going through two of the holes, one on that side, one on the other side, and then the same with each of the others along there. A little hard to see. And then I put two along the top to connect them side by side, and then just one down at the bottom side by side for each of the horizontal connections. Okay, so that's what I consider to be fairly minimal for these things. And this is not, like, you have to cut those off if you want to undo this and transport them. So here's my recommendation. Either keep this permanently ready to go somewhere, like I have some photo equipment storage in another room. I plan to put some nails on the wall and just hang it on there because I have just the right space for it. Or plan for this to be like a one-time use thing, or just you need to plan a lot of time for your setup for whatever your event is. I'm pretty slow, but still it'll probably take you a lot of time to put all of these things together. So you can put them in whatever formation you want. I did them in 4 horizontal by 6 vertical because that gives me 6 feet tall for a regular standing person. It can handle most people. You can also do 8 by 3 or any other combination with the 24 panels. But this is another thing that comes in there. These are little hooks. They have hooks inside there on the bag with little adhesive sticker things. I'm not sure I trust these. I'm definitely not going to hang them up using that when I put them with my photo equipment because I don't trust that long term. I don't want the adhesive on the walls. I'd rather just put the nails in. If you notice up here, the weight of these, now I've got these poles out, they're 10 feet, but this is a significant amount of weight, and so there's some sag to that. If I hold this up, you can see a little bit better. And if there weren't that sag, then I wouldn't have to connect them so much horizontally. And because it was so much weight, I started out doing just one connection per panel, but I ended up deciding to do 8 so that they wouldn't bow in, and I've got photos of that with my review. And in order to do this, I could have, if I did this just planning to get rid of these zip ties and cut them off and throw them away, then I could have zip tied it over the bar here for a backdrop stand, which is not included with this. But instead, what I decided to do was make loops using 2 of the zip ties. You can put one of the zip ties through another zip ties hole, just like it's the other side of that zip tie. Just put it in a little bit till it holds, and then you can connect the other 2 ends together, the head and the tail of them. And that made little loops up here, which I could then put these heavy-duty clamps through and just be safe. Again, this is heavy and it's difficult to get it to hold on there. But overall, I mean, this is apart from the difficulty of getting this together, where they're facing each other and you've got this between each of them. This works out pretty well. It's very pretty in person. It catches the light well. That's the whole purpose of this. I mean, otherwise, I couldn't recommend spending this much money, but this is if you really want the visual effect and you really want that shimmer. So I plan to put this with a backdrop behind it. You see I have the other stands up there, the other poles, because if you have a light behind it, then it ruins the effect a little bit. So I plan to put that behind it. And I think it's really cool. If we move side to side, you can see that. And especially if you have a light on though, you can see these different angles. They start to disappear and it starts to look holy. So it looks much better just from the one angle where you catch them more. Okay, so one more little thing. They do include a few of the extra tiles in here and the pins. So when I was unpacking these, some of these popped off. These little pins just press into the acrylic holder there, and it's a pretty simple construction. I don't know whether they're glued in at all or just pressure fit. I guess pressure fit, but it's not too difficult to repair that, so I'm glad they include some. So anyway, this review is long enough. I hope it answers any of the questions that you had about this. And really, if you really want the visual element and that shimmer, then this can be good for you. If you're just looking for a plain background, then you probably don't want to put in the money and the effort, definitely the effort that this takes. All right, hope that helped.